So tell us a little bit about yourself here. You're Jonathan Northover. You were one of the actors in my last movie, Writing Frenzy, coming soon to home
Writing
video.
Frenzy. Mhm. What would you like to know? Where do I start?
Well, let's see. You're an actor.
Mhm.
So what
Well,
inspired you to start acting?
Oh God, because I hated being a lawyer. That's the best reason.
I think that's why a lot of us are in this business, is because we just, the day job's fine and everything,
Yeah.
but you have that urge to do more than just that every day.
Yeah, I think I was a slow slow learner or late developer or something. I wanted to do it, but never had the balls. So I went the obvious career path: take exams, jump through hoops, do stuff, make progress.
Yeah.
Buy a house, a car, and wife and 3 children. Didn't quite get to that bit, but bailed out luckily soon enough to pursue what I really wanted to do, which was fooling around in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
What have you been doing lately? Is there any projects or?
Well, let's see. So I have just started a new movie, short. I just finished doing the voiceover for a Sims game, Sims Medieval. It's coming out in March.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was fun. 6 months of work with some really great people. It's fun to do something very different. Wasn't expecting that to come along. And I did something for a Korean anime in January. No, not January. It was in December last year as well. It was very bizarre, but fun. Played Hamlet in a Korean anime. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Crazy.
And then what else? Writing stuff and stuff, bits and pieces here
Trying
and there.
to develop a script or something like that.
Yeah. Trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to adapt a play to a screenplay.
Oh, okay.
And I know nothing about either really, but I'm trying to chisel something out of what I already have. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Because you've read enough scripts, you got an idea of how they're formatted and what it takes to.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, it's a different thing. It's one of those things you think you can do until you start trying to do it, and then you realize you can't, or
Well, it takes practice like anything else.
Yeah.
Just keep at it. That's really my best advice. Is
good advice.
That's the best way to learn, is by doing.
Absolutely.
It's much like the acting. You can read a lot of books, but unless you're out there actually doing it, you're not getting the experience and the life lessons and all that fun stuff.
Right.
Okay, so what were some of the? I mean, you mentioned some of the recent things that sound like highlights. Was there anything prior to that that's been, real standouts?
Prior to that, probably the only, for me personally, the most significant thing was putting my play on last year. Just because you'll get this great feel of how to write something that you've never... I'd never written something before that I'd seen a full-length play on stage with actors after some rehearsals and some production value. Didn't have a clue about what was going to happen, and the amount that you learn in 5 weeks doing that is more than I learnt during the 3-year period writing it, for sure, by myself in a dark room, trying to figure out, I know what's good and what's bad and what works and what doesn't work, and you don't until you see it.
That's
you kind of have an idea, but you don't really until you see it. So that was a fantastic learning experience, because it made me realize you've got to get it out, so to speak, sooner than I did. It being the play, of course, the writing, not.
There's nothing quite like you've written something and then see people bring it to life.
Yeah, and the things that people find that you never imagined they'd find. Some of them good and some of them embarrassing, and you wish you hadn't written it. But yeah, it's really it takes a life of its own on far sooner than I ever anticipated it would. So that's probably the most significant thing, because it was, sitting in a, like I said, dark room, trying to figure it out by myself for too long.
And even sometimes you're wondering, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Is this going?
Terrified it's going to sound like crap. I almost swore then. Am I allowed to swear on this?
If it happens, it happens.
Does someone over there go beep?
No 7-second delay. It's just the freedom of speech station still.
Try not to swear.
If it happens, it happens. We do have a midnight repeat, so we're protected on that one.
Oh, perfect.
After midnight, adult content comes out.
Excellent. So when I talk about getting it out, no one's going to...
Yes. I had that experience, nothing embarrassing, actually, from you guys, but the you found things in the characters that I didn't even know was
Oh,
there,
really?
or
That's
ways
great.
you'd read the line where it's like, oh, that takes on a whole new context.
Oh, that's really
and
great.
So that's
That-
really gratifying.
Yeah, I've found that sometimes have you ever you've written a specific line that must be in there with a specific intention to reveal something,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a reveal, but it's a completely opposite kind of reveal than the one you intended, and it ruins everything. Have you ever had that happen?
I can see what you mean by that.
That's happened to me, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. I
Time
have to
for
change that.
rewrites.
Delete.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think is the most challenging aspect of being a filmmaker?
Being a filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
from the filmmaker's perspective, you mean?
Yeah.
Challenging aspect of being a filmmaker, probably patience for me,
Mm.
because things always screw up, and you. I mean, it's good if you. Well, it depends what kind of filmmaking you're talking about. If you're talking about independent guerrilla filmmaking,
Pretty much what
like
stuff we
what
do.
we did.
Yeah.
then you have to have the patience of a saint, I think, because people will not show up on time, the weather won't cooperate,
Mm-hmm.
it visits whether you like it or not, and it's not as if you have a team of 200 staff to whom you could delegate in order to keep things ticking over
Mhm.
really smoothly. So you just got to be patient, because, and the other challenging thing I think is I have a tendency to want to take too many takes. No, make too many. What is that? Shoot too many takes
Mhm.
to make sure I've got it, and then I have too much stuff, and I can't cut between them because of inconsistencies or just slight
Oh,
lighting
isn't that
differences.
always
Whatever.
fun? Yeah.
And if you've got to have the right people doing the right things and all taking care of it all, so that
Mhm.
you can relax. But if you don't have that because it's guerrilla filmmaking, then you just can't expect too much, I suppose.
Something that I've discovered that I'm going to try on the next movie: shot lists.
Shot lists, that would
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, no more of
Yeah,
this
shot
shooting
lists.
it like a live TV show. Put up 3 cameras, hit record all at once, and we'll sort it out later. No, it'll be
Yeah.
like, maybe I want a 2-shot here, cut to a close-up. It seems like such common sense stuff, but
Yeah.
you don't think of it that way when
Right.
you're just rushing into it.
Right. And rely. The other thing about I think the most challenging thing, one of the most challenging things, is you're relying on volunteers.
Yeah, that too.
And you cannot be presumptuous about the generosity of
Mhm.
volunteers. And it's easy in a market where there's too much supply of actors and too little demand to take them for granted. And when you're at the actor side, you understand this very well. We're not getting
Mhm.
paid, So it's that from the filmmaking perspective, from the actor side, I've seen that happen, and it can be a bit of a you're fodder because there's so many of you. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it's the same even if you are getting paid, even on the big shoots.
Yeah, and then they can yell at you and fire you and stuff
Right.
because they are paying you.
Right, and yeah. So
People working for free, you can't act like a jerk. They're
Mhm,
not
right.
going to want to work with you.
yeah, and the crew as well. I mean, everybody chips in and does their best. And it's it's a fine balance, I think, with that kind of filmmaking between, being thankful for their generosity on the one hand, and not getting too annoyed with them when they mess things up
Yeah.
on the other hand.
It's always fun when there's an egomaniac on top of it.
Oh God,
It's like in independent
they're everywhere.
film.
He's one.
Yeah, but
Can't you tell?
at least know how to at least check it off to the side and let you
Yeah.
guys do your thing at
Yeah.
that point. I almost felt like I didn't direct that movie, but I guess that's what directing can be: is you've done your job already
Yeah.
before you say action.
Yeah.
Then you just step back and let them do their
Yeah.
thing at that point.
Yeah, but yeah, you do get sometimes people muscling in, and you have to be gracious because they're volunteers.
Exactly, and you
They
never
just
know
talk about
where
them
a
behind
good
their
idea
back.
is going to
It's-
come from. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. We can go for a couple more minutes here.
Ooh, okay.
So you've been doing some voiceover stuff?
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
So is that something that you just kind of fell into, or?
Yeah, I have an agent in Los Angeles for voiceover, and I got this. The last thing I did, this Korean anime thing. It's very weird. I mean, they just send me these auditions, and I read the script at home using one of these, and send an MP3 file off to the thing, and then to the agent, and then one in every 30, I get a callback or a gig or something. Actually, it's probably more like 1 in 50. But
Better odds. We could,
yeah,
0 out of 200.
exactly.
We
Can you
got
imagine?
so far.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, but it was very weird stuff. You don't appreciate the size of the video game market if you don't play video games, which I don't. And it's huge. Stories of all sorts of people getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to do 15-minute or 10-minute commercials for them and to actually appear on the games themselves. But really interesting, very professional, very good, incredible games. And the Korean one, for example, was very interesting. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and then I was trying to remember if I'm supposed to say the name of it, so I might as well forget the name of it.
Yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah.
But that's a whole new
made that up about
world for
Korean
actors.
game.
There is a video game voiceover
Yeah.
acting. That's a relatively new one. It used to be, when we were kids, it was, Pac-Man.
Right.
There's no voiceovers in that.
Yeah, I love Pac-Man. Yeah, you
That's
don't,
one of the
you don't
few I
have
can
to
still
pay
play.
Ian McKellen to go beep, 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 beep.
Next thing you know, they'll be hiring you to do the beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, I'll be up for that.
Yeah, why not?
I can do it. No,
I'll do that.
Now I'm more angry. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. Might be fun.
Mm-hmm.
They pay, and I think one of the other things is the someone was telling me about the what do you call the audio books? Books on tape
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
They
that'd be a
pay all
good
sorts of
gig,
people
too.
to do all sorts of weird, reading books. I mean, you get paid to read a book.
Mm-hmm. Some of those are
Those-
17 hours long and whatnot.
Really? And what is a book on tape after all? It's not really a book anymore, is it? That's another thing.
No, it's just somebody reading to you.
Somebody reading to you on tape. It's not a book
Mhm.
on a tape, is it? I
Mhm.
mean, it's always puzzled me.
Yeah, there's no
That's right.
pages.
Write in if you have any answers to the books on tape.
There are
Conundrum.
chapter stops on the CDs, though, so at least
Oh, that's
they
true.
carry
Right.
that over.
Right.
It's mostly people, long commuting jobs to their every day, and
Right.
they don't like to listen to the radio or music.
Right.
Personally, I have to have music when I'm driving. If somebody's
you?
just talking on the car, I might drive off the side of the road. It's distracting to me.
I found podcasts are
Yeah.
really great, and got it. Podcasts on
The whole
it-
plan.
The whole plan has just been.
But you
Brilliant.
like driving with podcasts?
Yeah, because you can get some incredible stuff online.
That's true.
I mean, amazing lectures and stuff, and conversations and interviews and articles. And I've only just discovered podcasts, even though I was in one in 2005, the first movie, just before I did
okay.
Remnants at Friskies. I did a movie, and they recorded an interview rather like this, and did it as a podcast. And I remember it was a new thing, and I was like, wow, podcast, what's that? It was very exciting.
It's kind of taken over for the public access, actually.
Has it? Has it ruined
It
audio?
seems like everybody goes online and puts
Mm.
stuff. I still like the locality of
Yeah.
public access, and it's on your TV.
Yeah.
You can't flip to the channels
Right.
and get a podcast yet.
Yet. Well, can I ask you about that real quick?
Sure.
What is the deal with access? Because when I did Crewing Up, I thought the place was all closing down and everyone was going to go home and
Well, I've been,
sulk.
like I said, I've been coming down here for almost 21 years,
Yeah.
and
It's amazing.
even from back then, they
Yeah.
were saying, we're going to close next week.
Really?
Of course, it's become more dire each year. We're
Yeah.
only open 2 days a week now. But with
But
all the
keep going.
volunteers that come down here and keeping it
they keep it
alive,
going,
you
yeah.
know.
Good for you
we're
guys. Good for
kind
you.
a
Round of applause for
reboot,
you.
know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I thought it was a shame to have this place closed down.
Exactly. That's why I changed the format of my show to just people calling in, blah, 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 to let's do something constructive with the slot and have it tie into the filmmaking
Yeah.
aspect. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Good plan.
cool. Well, thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much, Marty. It was a pleasure to work with you,
Yes.
and thank you for the invitation for the
Yeah.
interview.
And hopefully we can
Oh.
work with you again.
Hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. That was Jonathan Northover. Be on the lookout for him, up and coming.